I'll be using my basic sleeve pattern for this project, which is this here. I also have fabric tape, marker and ruler, buttons. So to begin, this is my basic sleeve pattern. I'm going to use that middle line as a guide and divide each half into half. So I'll be dividing this pattern into 4 equal parts. So starting from the hem, I'm going to measure from the side to that center line and divide whatever I have by 2. So it is 4 inches. So I'm going to mark 2 inches, which is the half point. And I'm going to do that on the other side as well, mark 2 inches. I'm going to come up to the elbow area and divide that by 2 and divide the other side by 2 as well. I'm going to repeat the same thing at the top here, divide each side by 2. After marking all those points, I'm going to connect them together using a ruler to make a straight line on either side of the paper. So I'm just going to rule from top to bottom or bottom to top. Either way is fine as long as I am able to connect all the points. So this is what the pattern is looking like currently. I'm going to label all the parts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Then from that top peak, I'm going to come down by 3.5 inches because it's an off shoulder sleeve, and then I'm going to draw that line out, the 3.5 inch mark. So that top part there, I'll be cutting it out of this pattern. When I cut that out, I do note that the pattern has a front and a back, so you have to take note which side is the front and which side is the back. Then from that armhole curve on either side, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches. So I'm using 1.5 inches now, but I went ahead to increase it to 3 inches because we'll be pleating the sleeve towards the top. So we'll be needing enough space for pleating. So I'm just going to connect it back to the top of the sleeve and then cut out the initial armhole curve on either side of the sleeve. So I'm just going to cut off those parts that we will not be needing. Then I'm going to slant each part using the ruled line as a guide. I'm going to cut out each part. Remember, we have 4 pieces for the sleeve, so I cut out all of them. I'm just going to indicate which side is bottom and which side is the top, so I know what goes where. So this is what our sleeve pattern is looking like at this point. So I'm going to pin it to my main fabric. Do you know my main fabric is folded into 2, so I'm able to cut both sleeves at the same time. Then I pin down the first part, and from that part I'm going to mark 3 inches away from the first part, and that's where the second part of the sleeve would start from. So you want each panel or each part of the sleeve to be 3 inches apart, depending on how big you want your sleeve to be. If you want it bigger, you can do 3, you can do 4 or 4.5, but I'm using 3 inches, so each panel is 3 inch apart. So I'm going to repeat the same thing, 3 inches here, 3 inches there, 3 inches here, and then I'm going to connect all those points. I'm using a tailor's chalk for this, so it's really light. It's not just so I know. Then on the back of the sleeve, just in between panel 1 and panel 2, I'm going to cut it open, and that's because we'll be attaching a placket. We'll be attaching cuffs to the base of the sleeve. So do know that this cut was made at the back of the sleeve, just in between panel 1 and panel 2. So depending on where your back of the sleeve is, if it's depending on how you number it, but it should be at the back of the sleeve and not at the front. So what I'm doing next is to cut out the cuff for the sleeve, which is going to be below the sleeve. So I'm going to measure a length of 9.5 inches and a width of uh 3.5 inches. So you can go as high or as low as you want. If you want your cuff to be bigger, feel free to make it bigger, but I'm using 3.5 inches, and that is what I'm marking for the width. Then I am going to connect those points together and cut it out to make the cuff of this sleeve. All right, so this is what it looks like. I have 4 so I cut into 4. I have 4 fold-its, and that's because I'll be joining 2 together right sides facing for the cuff. So on this part that we cut open, I'm going to join together right sides facing from top, but I'm not going to join all the way to the bottom. I'm going to go upwards from the bottom by 3 inches and mark the 3-inch point. So that's where I'm going to stitch to. From top, I'm going to just stitch to that part that is marked 3 inches from top. From top there, I'm going to sew all the way to this 3-inch point while that bottom part remains open. So I'm just going to go join it with a simple straight stitch from top to that marked spot there. After joining, this is what it looks like. You can see it is stitched from top to bottom while that bottom is open. So what I'm going to do next is to fold over the top of the sleeve. I'm going to double fold just so it's closed, fold over the top and stitch. Then this opening here, I'm going to fold on either side and top stitch again. So I'm going to fold the side on the left twice and the side on the right twice, so it's just like making a slit. So I just want to like fold it into 2. You can see how I pinned it. So this is how I folded it. I'm going to sew from top, bottom, top, down like that, while I top stitch the top of the sleeve here as well. So I'm just going to do that and probably iron it down and just show you guys how it's like. All right, so this is what it looks like after it has been sewn, stitched, kind of like pressed, hence why it looks wet. So what I'll be doing next is to fold over the sides and join the side like a normal sleeve. So I'm going to join the sides from top all the way down, just the way we make basic sleeves. I'm just going to join the side. Then I would use a loose stitch to make ruffles at the base here because you want it as a gather. So I'm going to, after joining, I'm going to use a loose stitch at the bottom and drag to make gathers at the base of the sleeve. For this cuff, I have 2 pieces and they are right sides facing. So what I'm going to do is sew from one side up here and down the top and down the other side. So when sewing though, you're not sewing from the tip of the edge. You're just going to leave a little bit of allowance for to be able to turn the hem and join this to the sleeve. So this is what the sleeve looks like after it has been ruffled. So I'm just going to attach one side of the cuff on the wrong side, basically securing it down with pins like this. Then the other side, after stitching this side down, I'm going to use the other side of the cuff like this, fold it down like this, and then fold it inwards and top stitch just so all the seams are in between and hidden. So I'm just going to go do that and yeah, show you guys what it looks like. So this is what it looks like once it's done. You can see it's looking nice, looking neat. I basically pinned the back together. So this is what our sleeve is looking like currently. So the next thing will be to attach the sleeve onto the garment. So what I'm going to do is to pin that part where we joined the sleeve, not this part that has the opening for the cuff, but the actual joining of the sleeve to the side of the garment. So you want to ensure that the side that has the slit or the opening for the cuff is on the back of the garment and not on the front. So you want to put that into consideration when doing this and ensure that you're doing it right. So I'm going to pin the joining of the sleeve, the original joining, that's the normal way you join a sleeve. The second part we joined for the sleeve, I'm going to pin that to that side of the garment. Then from the shoulder joining on the garments, I'm going to come down by 4 inches and mark the 4-inch spot. Then I'll pin the right top of the armhole to that 4-inch spot that we just marked. So this is where the sleeve is going to start from. I'm just going to pin that down and repeat the same thing on the back side as well. Measure 4 inches from the shoulder down and pin. So that is where the sleeve is going to start from. If you're still watching this video up to this moment, hope you have subscribed and turn on post notification. Leave a comment in the comment section to know your thoughts about this video so far. And yeah, just let me know how you guys have been generally. I know it's been a while since I posted anything. Just let me know how you guys have been, and let's just have a good chit chat. All right, so back to our class. I'm just going to pin that down on the 4-inch spot like this, and this is what it should look like when you're done. This pin is really hard, it was quite a struggle getting it in. So this is the excess fabric that you have on each side. So that excess fabric, you just want to pull it or drag it to the top, because you'll be making pleats towards the top of the sleeve. So I'm just using pin to secure that down while I pull the pleats or the excess fabric toward the top, and I'm going to pleat it like this on either side of that top, so it should look something like this. You can have more pleats depending on how deep you go with your armhole. So this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to pull like this while I pleat the excess fabric on the top. So I'm just going to do that and stitch from one side or to the other side. Then I'll go ahead to attach the buttonhole as well as the buttons. And yeah, that's basically how to achieve this look. If you enjoyed the video, do let me know. If you learned something, do let me know. And join the family, subscribe, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know